Let's do this. This is gonna be the final game of this match. Afterwards, I'm actually casting Russian Star League, so the fun just never ends. Spawning in the bottom right position as the Teal Protoss player who defeated our Zerg in the first game of today's team match. From Root Gaming, it is puCK. And spawning in the top right position as the red Zerg player, coming in for Quantic Gaming, who just had an incredibly close match with a Terran player on Newkirk Precinct. It is HyuN. Somehow barely managed to get a lucky Nidus Worm off to win the last game, almost losing the match right there, but still hanging on as much as he can. puCK looks like he wants to open up with the Forge Expand, which is pretty typical of pretty much almost every single Protoss that's ever lived, especially on this map. But, you know, puCK won, if you guys missed it, in the first game of today. puCK did win the match utilizing a strategy based around a big sentry push as he was taking his third base. And HyuN lost quite a bit. And kind of went for his standard style, which is very, very heavy on roaches. So puCK can kind of take this into account and say, okay, well, you know, HyuN just doesn't like making Mutalisks. I don't have to open Stargate. HyuN is one of the few Zerg players that you really don't have to open Stargate versus, because he's one of the last guys you're going to see go Mutas. If he goes Mutas, it's only because you were too greedy or something and you went like double Robo off of one base or something crazy. Mass Immortal push, but so far, this game looks pretty normal. Nothing really weird going on. Nothing overly kinky. These guys are just going to play their hearts out, play regular, normal games. The pool timing from HyuN, you could say, it's like, oh, well, what if he gets a Zergling in? No, the map's too big. puCK's going to have a cannon up in time, or should. HyuN's only even making 2 Zerglings, so it doesn't matter. Queen is on the way at the same time. Now, taking a look at, I guess, what else is going on. This probe for puCK is going to get taken out, but puCK knows that HyuN's not doing anything weird, which is the most important thing to scout. That's really where it counts. Now, Gateway's coming in as well as the Photon Cannon for puCK. This is going to be up in time. These 2 Lings are not going to be able to do really much of anything. So, Nexus, Seer, and puCK just kind of doing this thing. So we're kind of like in the slow phase of this game, where we're not really seeing too much going on between these players. So if you guys are interested, you can check out some more of the information about the Acer TeamStory Cup. We have a big thing on, it's take.tv/Acer, I believe, is where you can find more info. We also have, our Liquipedia page, currently leading as we go through the final game of today's match, this best of 9. Can you believe we had 9 games played total? This match so far. And currently in first place is Millennium, who did manage to take a lead over MVP. And I think that's a big credit to the all-kill on MVP caused by Daishi a couple weeks back. Now, second place is MVP. Third place, Team Acer. And fourth place, Team Liquid. Now, Team Liquid is currently jockeying with Mouse Sports. Mouse Sports has the same number of wins as Team Liquid, but Team Liquid actually has 2 less losses. I believe a couple of their matches haven't been played out yet or something weird like that. But yeah. So, the teams that are kind of fighting to try to get back in it are Axiom and Quantic. Quantic really needs this win in this game. Like, they really need it. Root is I think Root's already been eliminated. We're still in it, but we're not, like, I don't know if there's a way that Root can actually get to the playoffs of the Acer Cup. Let's take a quick look at the upcoming schedule of matches that we're going to be having. Let's see. How far back are these things updated? Okay, so Root versus Quantic. So the next match that you guys will be able to tune into looks like, oh, some of these dates. Okay, some of these matches rescheduled. Never mind. I can't read. So I'm just not going to try to decipher that because it looks like they were jumbled around a bit. But as far as this game goes, HyuN's just doing his thing. He's playing really, really standard, really greedy. Pretty much just droning up his third base before he even starts working on the gas. So He could have done really crazy, like go straight into up. Yep, straight into lair. HyuN, this is pretty much HyuN's mass Hydralisk style. And when he does this, he skips everything. He skips the Roach Warren. He actually gets the Roach Warren now. You know, he actually lost. He would lose quite a bit. The only thing that would beat HyuN would be if he just went Colossi. Like, you could just metagame him because he never built Roaches, so he never had anything to tank for his Hydras. They all just evaporated. I do like that he's been just sticking the Roach Warren in there when he gets the lair lately. He doesn't do anything. He usually doesn't do anything crazy roach based, unlike the first game versus puCK. But puCK Zealot gets cleaned up. Now, as far as what puCK is doing, the robotics facility opener once again. A lot of gateways. puCK will be going for quite a hefty timing attack. It seems he has the +1 about to finish up. Twilight Council, of course, coming in. And this 6-gate play with the Warp Prism is actually going to be really powerful. With this kind of setup, you get the Zealots in, you get the Sentries into the Warp Prism, and then you kind of get into this cool spot where the Warp Prism picks the 3 Sentries up. If you can get on top of one of these ramps, you force field out the rest of the units, and you just do crippling amounts of damage and kill a Zerg player, make them never want to play StarCraft ever again. Now, these Sentries are stepping out, just trying to take care of these Lings that would be scouting. puCK doesn't want to burn any force fields just yet. Now, where is the Warp Prism is the real question. It's just come out. It looks like puCK does not want to actually pick up his Sentries, which I find very interesting, leaving them behind to protect. But trying to do damage I don't think it's a terrible idea. Now, HyuN is rolling out a lot of Lings. The Hydralisk Den is coming. Ling speed's finishing up as these Lings complete. And it looks like HyuN wanted to go for a big attack, but I think upon realizing there's a Warp Prism flying towards your base, you can't really do too much. We have 3 Zealots loaded inside of it. A bunch of Roaches and Lings do go to try to intercept that, but not able to. Blink and +2 are on the way, so it looks like the follow-up to this this Zealot Harass is going to be Blink Immortal off of 2 base, pretty much all in, super all in. It looks actually a lot like the build that we saw in Akalon Wastes, except, I mean, aside from the fact that it's not that build, it's the same composition setup, which is good versus the Roach Ling, which it's, you know, it's really not that terrible. More Sentries being added in, more force fields will be available to manipulate this Protoss army. And we did have about 12 or so, 12, 14 Sentries for puCK when he first did this build. And as long as these Zealots can distract HyuN, keep HyuN busy, killing the Queens limits the injects, which limits the production, which limits the ability to defend against attacks like puCK's. As long as puCK can keep HyuN from getting comfortable, this push can do a lot of damage. And puCK could do something like try to take a 3rd base behind this, which is much more difficult to do on this map in particular. But with the Warp Prism, puCK kind of has options. So, oh, and as I say that, the Warp Prism gets dangerous. With a 1 hit point left on it, a single Zealot escapes. And puCK's going to set up some forward pylons. So it does look like puCK wants to get a little bit more aggressive. These pylons are kind of starting to string out a little bit, or at least the path that they looked like they wanted to go on was stringing a bit towards HyuN's base. Now, HyuN has Hydralisks mixed in, and this is where things get really rough for puCK, because Hydralisks are just trade so well versus regular Gateway. I'm gonna sneeze. On the force fields, Guardian Shield's activated. He's just gonna go for it right here, doing a tremendous amount of damage to the Ling forces, still picking away at these Hydralisks, but Hydras are just so good versus Gateway compositions. There's so many of them. This is where HyuN's composition really shines, recognizing, hey, you're not gonna go Colossi? Okay, well, let's just throw out this mass Hydra force. It's not going to be Roach Ling like he did in the first game. If it was Roach Ling, puCK probably would have just won the game right there. But unfortunately, this is a tense spot to be in. The Muscular Augments, which is the Hydralisk speed upgrade, is currently researching, which is going to make those Hydras a little bit faster. Sorry, I'm just trying to stand this microphone up. And well, the rocks are being worked away. We do have HyuN just kind of poking and prodding. He's not going all in. He's not going to go mega crazy attack style just yet. He just wants to make sure everything's going to be perfectly secure. And I think pushing out against a Protoss player without the Hydra speed is a really, really dangerous game to play. puCK is going to try to push out. I don't know how I feel about this. I think puCK realizes he's really, really, really behind after that big attack. Blinks the Stalkers away, throws on the force fields. Will grab the Zerglings, which is nice. As long as puCK can keep the Hydras away and cleans up all these Lings, that's actually a really big score. Those were a lot of Zerglings that just died here for HyuN. And the Immortals are what puCK's basically trying to let get away. He opens up the red gates of the Stalkers to get those Immortals out. And, you know, I don't know how I feel about this game. puCK's in a bad spot. There's no doubting that. But puCK does have +2 attack. I think a charge lot transition could help if you can get good force fields and get the charge lots onto the Hydras maybe. I don't know. It's really rough. It's a really rough spot because puCK went for that same timing attack, but it wasn't as well hidden as it was when he played on Acheron Wastes. And I think that's one of the things that makes this really difficult to deal with. And there's the Warp Prism attack. Nothing huge there. He didn't really do any damage. puCK's only killed one drone all game. So with all that pressure, HyuN is still looking fantastic. The drone count for HyuN is 64, 63-ish. And HyuN's going to get a Spire. This is most likely going to be for Corruptors. You don't really ever see HyuN get Mutas, unless the only reason I can think of HyuN getting Mutalisks for is if he wanted to do something like a very fast, say, I guess it'd just be a very fast composition to deal with the Warp Prism. As now you have a lot more Zealots in the natural expansion, actually trying to snipe that hatchery. HyuN's going all in here, pushing through, trying to get into that natural. Now the third base is going to be shut down. There's no denying that. But puCK, with force fields, is going to try to hold on. If puCK can somehow stop this natural expansion attack, he can partition off these Zealots between the bases and do a lot of counter damage, do a lot of counter harass. I just don't know if puCK has enough force fields to keep these Hydras away long enough to get himself a real army. puCK is in trouble, and we might even see these sentries just come down and just try to, yeah, just good force fields is really the only chance. Good force fields and blinks. And that's what puCK is doing right now. puCK's trading actually very cost effectively. The problem is, puCK still needs more and more units. puCK needs time to get more forces up. Meanwhile, HyuN, Roaches in the main base are going to finally clean up these Zealots, but there's just so many Hydras. I feel like I'm watching someone play 20,000 Hydralisks. And one of the observers reminding me how I blew this match for my team. And HyuN, well, he's got puCK. He's got puCK locked in. Heart, GG. HyuN takes the final map in this best of 9 Team League match, and we'll take this victory over Root Gaming. So great play by HyuN there to defeat the last 3 players for Quantic. Excuse me, the last 3 players for Root. And that is going to be all today for the Acer TeamStory Cup, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's